Welcome to my channel, Everyday English Story. Do you want to speak English so naturally that people think you've been speaking it your whole life? Imagine, in just Sanser days, you start speaking smoothly, without stopping, without searching for words. You feel confident when you talk to friends, when you speak at work, even when you meet strangers. People listen to you and understand you the first time. Today, I will show you exactly how to make that happen. And no, it's not about memorizing hundreds of grammar rules or long, boring vocabulary lists. It's about a simple daily plan you can follow, even if you're a beginner. If you stay with me until the end, I'd too fine. I will give you my step-by-step method for speaking English naturally. In Sanser days. And once you hear it, you will never think about learning English the same way again. Chapter E. Why Speaking Naturally Matters. I want to tell you a story about one of my students. His name is Amir. Amir was a hard-working learner. He studied English for years. He knew the grammar rules very well. In fact, if you gave him a grammar test, he would get almost every answer correct. He memorized hundreds of vocabulary words. Hishu. He could write a long essay without making many mistakes. On paper, his English was almost perfect. But when Amir spoke, something was missing. His sentences were correct, but they sounded slow, robotic, and a little bit unnatural. When he talked to native speakers, they listened politely. But they could feel that his speech was not flowing naturally. Amir felt frustrated. He thought, I have worked so hard. Why do I still sound like a beginner? This is a problem that many English learners face. They study hard, they pass exams, they know the rules, but when they speak, it doesn't sound smooth. Why? Because knowing English and speaking English naturally are not the same thing. Knowing English means you can understand the rules, the words, the meaning. Speaking naturally means your words come out smoothly, like water flowing from a river. You don't have to stop and think about every word. You don't have to translate in your head before you speak. You can focus on the conversation, not the grammar. This is the difference between a learner who knows English and a person who can truly use English. English. When you speak naturally, people feel more connected to you. Your sentences have rhythm. Some words are strong, some are soft. Just like in native English, your tone goes up and down in a natural way, and this makes your speech sound alive. If your tone is always flat, people might think you are bored, tired, or not confident. But when your voice moves with energy, people pay attention. Natural speaking is also about confidence. Even if you make a small grammar mistake, people will still understand you if you sound natural. In fact, native speakers make grammar mistakes too, but they speak naturally, so no one notices. Many learners make the mistake of chasing perfect grammar before they work on speaking naturally. They think, when my grammar is perfect, then I will sound good. But this is not true. You can have perfect grammar and still sound unnatural, just like Amir. On the other hand, you can have simple grammar and still sound great if you use the right rhythm, tone, and flow. For example, listen to how children speak. They don't know all the grammar rules, but they sound completely natural. That's because they learn to speak by listening and copying, not by memorizing rules first. Now here is the exciting part. Even if you are a beginner, you can start speaking naturally in just 30 days. Yes, 30 days. Not because you will learn every rule in that time, but because you will train your mouth, your ears, and your brain to work together. It's like learning to dance. At first, your movements are slow and awkward. But if you practice a little every day, your body starts to remember the steps, and soon you can dance without thinking. Speaking naturally works. You don't wait until you know everything. You don't wait until you know everything. You start speaking naturally from the very first day. When Amir learned this, everything changed for him. Instead of spending all his time memorizing long grammar explanations, he started focusing on how he sounded. He practiced short, natural sentences every day. He listened to native speakers and copied their rhythm and tone. He used shadowing, repeating what he heard in real time. He recorded his own voice and compared it to native speakers. And here's the amazing thing. After just 1 month, people started reacting differently to him. Before, when Amir spoke, people would smile politely and try to understand. Now, when he spoke, people leaned forward and listened with interest. They felt comfortable talking to him. They answered him like they would to a native speaker. Even his friends told him, "Your English sounds so much better now." Amir's confidence grew. He was no longer afraid to start a conversation. He no longer worried about making small mistakes. Because he knew his speech was smooth and easy to understand. This is the power of speaking naturally. It changes how people see you. It changes how you feel about yourself. And the best part? You don't have to wait for years. You don't have to study for hours every day. You just need a smart, focused plan and a little bit of daily practice. In the next chapters, I will show you exactly how to do it. I will give you a simple daily plan that will help you think in English with listen in English and speak in English naturally. You will discover how to train your ears to hear English clearly, how to make your mouth move the right way, and how to choose simple sentences that sound natural every time. By the end of censor days, you will not only speak English, you will sound like someone who has been speaking it for years. But for now, remember this. Grammar is important, vocabulary is important, but speaking naturally is the skill that will make people remember you. And if Amir could do it in censor days, so can you. Chapter R, the Censor's Day Mindset Shift. When people think about speaking English, they imagine moving the mouth, making the right sounds, and pronouncing the words correctly. Yes, those things are important, but speaking naturally starts much earlier, inside your head. It's not only about your mouth, it's about how you think. If your brain is still thinking in your native language first, and then translating into English, your speech will always feel slow and unnatural. That's why one of the biggest shifts you can make in censor days is to start thinking in English. Now, when I say thinking in English, many students get nervous. 4. First worries. They imagine trying to think in big, complicated sentences like a native speaker. But that's not what I mean. Thinking in English can be simple. In fact, it should be simple in the beginning. You don't need to think in Shakespeare's English. You just need to train your brain to use English for small, everyday thoughts, instead of translating from your own language. Let me explain with an example. Imagine you wake up in the morning and you think, I am hungry. If your first thought is in your native language, and then you translate it into English, it takes time. But if your brain can go directly to, I'm hungry without translation, that's thinking in English. It might seem like a small thing, but it's powerful. If you can do this for many small thoughts every day, your brain starts to treat English like a natural language, not a school subject. You can start with easy, short thoughts. For example, pardondict. It's hot today. I need water. Where is my phone? I'm tired. Let's go outside. These are simple sentences, but they happen in your mind many times a day. The more often you think them in English, the faster your brain switches into English mode. And here's the beauty. You don't need to sit at a desk to practice this. You can do it while walking, eating, cleaning, or waiting for the bus. One of my students, Sana, had a problem. She could write well in English, but whenever she tried to speak, she froze. She searched for words in her head and lost confidence. I told her to stop worrying about speaking for a moment and instead focus on thinking in English. I gave her a challenge. For 1 week, try to have at least 5 small thoughts in English every day. She could say them quietly to herself or just think them silently. At first, she found it strange. She would think, I need to buy bread, but she had to force herself to say it in English. All. But after 3 days, she noticed something interesting. The English words started coming faster. By the end of the week, some thoughts came in English without effort. That's when I asked her to combine this thinking habit with mirror practice. Mirror practice is simple. You stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself in English. It could be about anything. Your plans for the day, what you just ate, something funny that happened yesterday. You look at yourself and speak, just like you would if you were talking to another person. Sana started doing this for just 2 minutes every morning. It felt strange at first, but it quickly became a habit. She started enjoying it. Then I told her about recording your voice. This is another powerful way to build confidence. When you record yourself speaking in English, you hear your own mistakes, but you also hear your own improvement. Sana started recording 1 short English sentence every day on her phone. She would listen, try again, and slowly her sentences started sounding smoother. To pass this simple daily routine, thinking in English, mirror practice, and voice recording, completely changed her fluency in just a few weeks. Here's the spike moment. You don't need hours of practice to see change. Even 5 minutes a day of thinking in English can make a difference within weeks. Your brain will slowly stop translating and start using English naturally. You won't have to force the words out, they will just come. I remember one day, about 3 weeks into her practice, Sana came to me excited. She said, "Something happened today." My friend spoke to me in English, and I answered without thinking in my own language first. I didn't even realize it until afterward. That was the moment I knew her mindset had shifted. She was no longer learning English in her mind. She was living in English, even for short moments. This mindset shift is the foundation of speaking naturally. If you don't make this change, every sentence will feel like a slow puzzle. But once you start thinking in English, even in short, simple thoughts, your sentences start to flow. And the best part? You can do this anywhere, at any time, with no special materials. So here's your Sensor Day Mindset Challenge. Every day, think at least 5 short thoughts in English. Every morning, do 1 minute of mirror practice. Once a day, record yourself saying 1 English sentence. These 3 habits will take less than 10 minutes, but the results will surprise you. You'll start feeling more confident. Your brain will stop freezing during conversations. And in just a month, you'll notice that English feels less like a foreign language and more like a natural way of expressing yourself. Remember, speaking naturally doesn't start with speaking. It starts with how you think. Change your mindset, and your English will follow. Chapter 10. Daily Listening that transforms your speaking. Many English learners make the mistake of trying to speak better without listening enough. They think speaking is only about moving their mouth and remembering words. But speaking well actually starts with listening well. Your mouth can only say what your ears have learned. The way you speak is simply a reflection of what you hear every day. If you only hear English for a few minutes in class once or twice a week, your speaking will stay slow and unnatural. But if you listen to English every single day, your brain starts copying the rhythm, the sounds, the tone, and the pronunciation without you even trying. I remember one of my students, Hamza. He studied English for years. His grammar was strong. He knew many vocabulary words. But when he spoke, it sounded flat and heavy. He didn't know why. I asked him a simple question: "How much English do you hear every day?" He thought for a moment and said, "Maybe 0.5 minutes in my class." Sometimes I watch a short video. That was the problem. You can't expect to sound natural in a language if you don't hear it enough. Hear it enough. It's like trying to play music without ever listening to music. It doesn't work. The good news is, you don't have to spend hours listening. Just Arcer's minutes a day can make a big difference. That's why I created the Sensors Day Listening Challenge for my students. It's very simple. Mardint. Sure minutes of slow English. This could be from a slow-speaking podcast for learners, an audiobook, or even a YouTube channel designed for beginners. The goal is to hear every word clearly and understand how it's pronounced. Minutes of natural speed English. This is how native speakers really speak in real life. At first, it will feel fast. You won't understand everything, and that's okay. The goal here is to train your ears to get used to the real rhythm of English. That's it. But just Arcer's minutes a day. You can do it while walking, cooking, cleaning, or before bed. But here's the important part. Don't just listen passively like background noise. Listen actively, as if you are preparing to repeat what you hear. This brings us to one of the most powerful techniques in language learning: shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a sentence and then immediately repeat it, trying to copy the speaker exactly. You don't stop to translate. You don't think about grammar. You simply copy the rhythm, tone, and pronunciation, almost like you are an echo of the speaker. Let me make it simple. Imagine you are a shadow that follows someone everywhere. If they move left, you move left. If they move right, you move right. In shadowing, your voice is the shadow of the speaker's voice. Or if they say, "I'm going to the market," you try to say it at the same time, or just after them, copying the way their voice rises and falls. Now, you might be thinking, but I'm just a beginner. Uh, eh, how can I copy native speakers? The truth is, you don't need to be perfect. Even if you only catch a few words at first, your brain is still learning. You're training your mouth to move in new ways. You're teaching your tongue to make English sounds naturally. Let's do a small demo right now. Listen carefully to how I say this sentence. What are you doing today? Way. That's the clear, slow version. But here's how a native speaker might say it quickly. What ya doin' today? Hear the difference? Words get connected. Sounds change. You can't learn this from grammar books. You can only learn it from listening and copying. If you shadow this kind of speech every day for Censor's Days, your speaking will sound much more natural. Moral. This is exactly what I told Hamza to do. For 1 month, he did his listening challenge every day. Few minutes. Slow English. Sir minutes natural English. And he shadowed as much as he could. At first, he felt frustrated because he couldn't keep up. But I told him, don't worry about being perfect. Just keep going. By the second week, he noticed something surprising. 1. When he spoke, some of the natural rhythms from the recordings were starting to appear in his own voice. By the end of the month, people told him he sounded smoother and more confident. He didn't study extra grammar. He didn't memorize more vocabulary. He just listened and copied. Listening is powerful because it teaches you things without you realizing it. You start to pick up how questions sound different from statements. You notice which words get stressed and which ones are softer. You hear how people connect words together. Over time, your brain takes all this information and uses it when you speak. So here's your challenge. For the next Censor Days, give yourself minutes of listening every day. 10 minutes slow English. 10 minutes natural speed English. And shadow as much as you can. If you do this, I promise your speaking will change. You'll stop sounding robotic. You'll start sounding like someone who has been speaking English for years. And the best part? You won't even feel like you're studying. You'll just be listening, and your brain will do the work for you. Speaking naturally starts with listening naturally. Train your ears, and your mouth will follow. Chapter Sir. Speaking practice that feels real. One of the biggest reasons English learners fail to speak naturally. is because they only speak in one place, inside the classroom. They answer questions when the teacher asks. They practice dialogues from the textbook. They read aloud when it's their turn. But the moment class ends, they stop speaking. Days or weeks pass without another word of English coming out of their mouth. It's like learning to swim, but only touching water for a few minutes once a week. You'll never feel comfortable, and you'll never move naturally. If you want to speak English naturally, you must practice in real life, not only in the safe environment of a classroom. The good news is, you don't have to travel to an English-speaking country to do this. You can practice anywhere, at home, in your room. Even when you're alone. The secret is to make speaking practice part of your daily life. The first and easiest way is self-talk, core. This is when you talk to yourself in English, as if you are having a small conversation with another person. You can do this in your mind or out loud. For example, when you wake up, you might say, I need to brush my teeth, or it's a sunny morning today. When you make breakfast, you can say, I'm making tea, or the eggs are almost ready. These simple sentences might feel too easy, but they are powerful. They make your brain start producing English without the stress of speaking to someone else. Wars. Another simple method is describing your day. At the end of the day, tell yourself what you did, step by step, in English. Och. For example, I woke up at Chi Sunshires. I had a cup of tea. I worked on my computer for 2 hours. Then I went to the market. You can do this in front of a mirror or even while lying in bed. The more you describe your day, the more natural English becomes in your mind. A third method is repeating after YouTube videos. Find a short video in English. It could be a news clip, a vlog, or even a TV scene. Play a sentence, pause, and repeat it exactly as you heard it. This is like shadowing, but you give yourself time to pause and focus on copying the pronunciation, rhythm, and tone. You can also record yourself and compare it with the original. This way, you train your speaking muscles in a fun and easy way. You can also try role play. Pretend you are in a real-life situation. Ordering food in a restaurant, booking a hotel room, talking to a taxi driver. Speak as if you are in that moment. You can even create both sides of the conversation. For example, Bardien you. Hello, I'd like a coffee, please. Waiter. Sure. Would you like milk or sugar? You. Just sugar, thank you. Role play works because it gives you practice with the exact sentences you will need in real situations. When the real moment comes, you'll feel prepared instead of nervous. One of my favorite techniques is the one topic per day speaking method. Each day, choose one small topic and speak about it for 2 to 5 minutes. The topic could be my favorite food, a place I want to visit, what I did last weekend, or my dream job. Within one topic, you give your brain time to find the right words and practice speaking in longer sentences. This is much better than jumping randomly from topic to topic. Over time, you'll notice You can speak more smoothly about many subjects. Now here's the spike. Let's take one simple sentence and turn it into a mini conversation. Imagine you start with, I like coffee. That's fine, but it's short. Let's make it bigger. I like coffee. I drink it every morning. I usually have it with milk and a little sugar. On weekends, I sometimes make it strong and black. K. My favorite coffee shop is near my office. The barista there knows my order. Now you've turned one small idea into a short conversation. This is how you expand your speaking naturally. You start with something simple, then add details, examples, and small stories. If you do this with different topics every day, your speaking will grow faster than you expect. One of my students, Yasir, used to say only short sentences in English. He would answer my questions like, yes, no, I like it. I gave him the one topic per day challenge. The first day, his topic was my family. At first, he said, I have 2 brothers. I asked him to add details. Where do they live? What do they do? How often do you see them? Soon he was saying, I have 2 brothers. One lives in Karachi. He works as a teacher. The other is in Dubai, and I talk to him every weekend on video call. This simple habit turned his short answers into full, natural conversations. Speaking practice doesn't need to be scary or formal. It should feel natural, easy, and part of your daily life. You don't have to wait for a teacher to tell you to speak. You can create opportunities anytime. Self-talk, describing your day, repeating after videos, role play, and the one topic per day method. These are all zero-pressure ways to build your confidence and fluency. If you make these speaking habits part of your Sensor Day plan, you will notice something amazing. Speaking will stop feeling like a test and start feeling like a normal part of your life. And when that happens, you'll know you are on your way to speaking English naturally. Chapter Wove. Fixing pronunciation. Naturally, many English learners think they need to sound exactly like a native speaker to speak well. They think their accent is the problem. But the truth is, you do not need a perfect British or American accent to speak clearly. You can have your own accent and still be understood easily. What really matters is clear speech, making sure your words are easy to hear, your sounds are correct, and your rhythm is natural. A clear speaker can be understood anywhere in the world. But if your speech is unclear, even a perfect grammar sentence will confuse people. I remember one of my students, Asma. She told me, teacher, my grammar is good, but people still say, you what? Yeah. When I speak. I listened to her and realized her problem wasn't grammar at all. It was pronunciation. Some of her sounds were not clear, and her rhythm was flat. Once we started working on clarity instead of chasing a perfect accent, everything changed. Clear pronunciation starts with knowing how to move your mouth and tongue. English has sounds that don't exist in many other languages, so your mouth needs to learn new movements. For example, the th sound in think. Your tongue must touch lightly between your teeth. You. If you keep your tongue inside your mouth, it will sound like tink or sink. which changes the meaning. Another example is the V sound in very. Your top teeth touch your bottom lip gently, and you push air through. If you close your lips like in B, you'll say berry, which sounds strange. When you start learning pronunciation, the best thing you can do is speak slowly. Last, most learners try to speak fast to sound fluent, but speed makes pronunciation worse. In the beginning, slow speaking helps your mouth form the sounds correctly. It gives your brain time to control the position of your tongue and lips. If you practice slowly now, your speed will improve naturally later, but with clarity. Here's an easy way to start. Take a short sentence like, I want to go to the park. Say it slowly, making sure each word is clear. Then say it again, a little faster, but still clear. Over time, your mouth will remember the correct movements, and your natural speed will improve. Pronunciation practice can be fun, especially if you use drills. One type of drill is minimal pairs, two words that are almost the same, but have one sound different. For example, party on ship, sheep, bit, beat, fan, van. Say them slowly, exaggerating the different sound. This trains your ears and mouth at the same time. Another fun drill is sentence rhythm. English has a natural beat. Some words are stressed, and others are softer. For example, I want to go to the park. Notice how want, go, and park are stronger. Practice saying the sentence with the correct rhythm. This makes your speech sound more natural instantly. You can also practice alike. Change the word you stress in a sentence and notice how the meaning changes. You. I didn't say he stole the money. Low fear. Meat wasn't me. I didn't say he stole the money. I never said it. Monked. I didn't say he stole the money. Maybe someone else did. Ranlupt. Poik. This not only helps your pronunciation, but also teaches you how meaning changes with voice. Now here's the spike. You don't need hours of pronunciation practice to see results. Just few minutes a day can make your speech smoother in a few weeks. You can stand in front of a mirror, watch how your mouth moves, and repeat short sentences slowly and clearly. You can record yourself saying a few sentences and compare them to a native speaker. Over time, you will hear a big difference. That's exactly what Asma did. Every day, she spent 2 minutes on pronunciation. She worked on her TH sounds, her V sounds, and her sentence rhythm. She spoke slowly, recorded herself, and listened back. After 3 weeks, people stopped asking her to repeat herself. She didn't lose her accent. She didn't need to, but her words were clear, smooth, and confident. Pronunciation is like training your muscles. At first, it feels strange. Your mouth gets tired. You have to think about every movement. But after daily practice, it becomes natural. You don't think about it anymore. Your mouth just knows what to do. So remember, you don't need to erase your accent. You just need to make your speech clear. Slow down. Focus on your mouth and tongue position. Use minimal pairs, sentence rhythm, and stress patterns. And give yourself just 2 minutes a day. In a few weeks, you'll hear the difference, and so will everyone else. Chapter Lu. Putting it all together. Your Sensors Day plan. We've talked about why speaking naturally matters, how to shift your mindset, the power of daily listening, how to practice speaking in real life, and fixed finesse. Now it's time to bring all these pieces together into one simple plan you can follow for the next Sensor Days. This is not a complicated. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need to study for hours. And you definitely don't need to be perfect. What you need is consistency, doing small, focused practice every single day. Here's your Sensors Day natural speaking routine Bardiansel. Step E. 10 minutes listening. Every day, spend 10 minutes listening to English. Choose a mix of slow English for understanding and natural speed English for real-life rhythm. This could be from podcasts, YouTube channels, audiobooks, or TV shows. The important thing is to listen actively, focus on the words, Warren, the rhythm, and how the speaker's voice rises and falls. This step trains your ears to recognize how English really sounds. Step R. 10 minutes shadowing. Right after you're listening, spend 10 minutes shadowing. Pick a short audio or video clip and try to speak along with it, copying exactly how the speaker says each sentence. R. The speaker says each sentence. Don't worry if you make mistakes. The goal is to get your mouth moving in sync with natural English. Over time, you will start to match the speed, rhythm, and pronunciation without thinking. Step 10 minutes self-speaking. Now it's time to speak freely. Spend 10 minutes talking to yourself in English. You can do this in front of a mirror, while walking, or even while cooking. Describe what you're doing. Tell a short story, or talk about your plans for the day. If you're not sure what to say, use the one topic per day method. For example, Day E, my favorite food. Day R, a place I want to visit. Day Sen, my best memory. This habit builds fluency because you're creating sentences in real time. Step 5 minutes pronunciation focus. Finally, spend 5 minutes focusing on pronunciation. This could be practicing tricky sounds like TH or V, working on sentence rhythm, or doing minimal pair drills. You can stand in front of a mirror to check your mouth position. You can record yourself saying a few sentences and compare them to a native speaker. The goal is to make your speech clearer and smoother day by day. This entire routine takes just Sensor Wu minutes. You can do it in one session or break it into smaller parts during the day. The key is not perfection. It's showing up every day. Even if you feel tired, even if your mood is low, even if your pronunciation feels awkward, do it. A short, imperfect practice every day is better than a perfect. Practice once a week. Now let me tell you about Ahmed. When I met Ahmed, he had been studying English for years but still felt shy in conversations. He understood grammar, a lot of vocabulary, but when it came to speaking, his sentences were slow, and he often got stuck. I introduced him to this same Sensor Day routine. At first, he didn't believe 10 minutes a day could change much, but he promised to try. The first week was a struggle. He felt awkward shadowing. His self-speaking was full of pauses, and his pronunciation practice felt strange. But he kept going. By the second week, something interesting happened. He noticed he could repeat sentences more easily during shadowing. His self-speaking became smoother, and he didn't need to translate every word from his native language. By the third week, he started enjoying the process. He found himself thinking in English more often, even outside practice time. His pronunciation became clearer, and when he spoke with friends, they told him he sounded more confident. At the end of Thursdays, Ahmed recorded a short video talking about his favorite book. When he compared it to a video he made at the start, the difference was huge. His voice was smoother, his sentences flowed naturally, and he sounded like a completely different person. That's the power of this simple routine. It's not magic. It's not about talent. It's about daily, focused action. If you follow this plan for Thursdays, you will hear and feel a difference. Your listening will sharpen. Your mouth will move more easily. Your words will flow faster. And most importantly, you will start to sound natural. Or, here's the spike, you are only Thursdays away from a new level of English. 30 days will pass no matter what you do. The question is, will you spend them wishing you could speak better, or will you spend them actually improving? If you start today, you could be speaking more naturally by next month. Imagine how good it will feel when someone says, "Wow, your English sounds so smooth now." That can be your reality if you begin now. So take this plan, commit to it. Do your minutes of listening, minutes of shadowing, minutes of self-speaking, and minutes of pronunciation every single day. In Thursdays, you'll look back and realize this was the moment you decided to take control of your English. If this video has given you the plan and motivation to start speaking English naturally in Thursdays, then don't just watch and forget. Start today. Right after this video, choose your first listening clip, stand in front of a mirror, and begin your very first self-speaking session. Remember, your future fluent self is only Thursdays away if you take the first step now. And if you found these tips helpful, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the daily lessons I share to help you grow your English step by step. Like this video, so I know you enjoyed it and want more. And in the comments, tell me, what's the first sentence you will practice speaking naturally today? I'll be reading and replying. Your journey to natural English starts now. Let's do it together.